and she was an extremely talented gardener. I had never heard of ground cover roses. I always thought it was roses that would go for a trellis or thorny bushes. This is ground cover roses.
Yeah.
And we've got a 6-piece set. They are not only great ground cover, they only get about 6 inches off the ground.
They don't get tall at all, but once they're established, the plants can go 10 feet wide.
One plant.
One plant. So you talked about cascading over walls,
Yep.
which is a great look. But you mentioned the trellis. You can actually train the runners up the trellis and turn it into a climbing rose.
That's so cool.
It's really versatile.
This is our final quantities of the year at a pre-season price. You're going to get 6 pieces for $36. Now, think in terms of this. For me, on my farm, and anyone who knows me, like Philip does, I am not frugal. I am cheap. Okay? This is the most bang for the buck. If one plant can spread to 10 feet and you give us 6 in the collection at
Yes.
$6 per plant, that is some glorious ground cover.
It really is,
And
because
they're
you can buy the
roses.
miniature roses almost anywhere, but
Yep.
this is a ground cover rose that goes out laterally, and they're just wonderful. It's the lowest maintenance of any of the roses we offer. So if you have had bad luck growing roses,
Yep.
this is a good starter.
And roses were
for
tough
you.
for so many of us.
Well, and they've earned that reputation.
Yep.
And so we have found the ones that absolutely work. These will work as ground cover underneath your big rose bushes. They're great in containers to cascade over the sides. But you get the choice of 6 of these beautiful yellow ones right here, which are called Golden Cascade. And at the top of a retaining wall or an embankment like the dam of your pond,
Yep.
they will completely cover that. They're beautiful. So that's the first choice, to get 6 of those, up to 10 feet across each plant, very long-lived. They also can withstand brutal pruning if you want to do that. These are reliable rebloomers, and these will fill the 6 plants up to 150 square feet. That's what one of the plants looks like in a container. Here is your other choice, the lavender
That's
cascade.
beautiful.
And what people have done when we've offered these before
Yep.
is they buy both and they mix the two together, because the yellow and the lavender together are just spectacular.
It's a perfect designer look.
It is.
I look for problem solution plants as much as I do just things that are beautiful. And for me, as a farmer, I'm already pretty busy with the to-do list and the chores.
Yes.
So I'm looking for those things that will kind of take care of themselves. I have a boulder outcropping where big boulders were used as an architectural levee in a barnyard area.
Okay.
And it was barren. And I wanted to find something that would work, that would be the perfect ground cover, that would be kind of this cross between delicate and those massive rocks. When you blend these two colors together, that just screams summer.
It's a real handsome look. Then they're great for small bouquets like that.
Sure.
Because these are blooming all season long. And I had these in my drive circle when I lived in Atlanta.
Okay.
And they would creep out over the driveway sometimes. You just run over them. It never killed the plant. But one thing I did notice is that everywhere that I got mulch over some of the stems, they rooted into the ground.
Okay.
So then what I started doing, I would put a brick over one of the long stems, which would encourage it to root even quicker. Then I had plants I could move around in the garden.
Oh, that's a great idea.
It was a lovely thing.
And most people don't think of roses as ground cover.
Well,
I didn't even know this existed. Philip and I were talking, and again, we had an opportunity to handpick everything that went into the program today. And I just got really excited about this. The price is incredible.
It
6
is.
plants
And it's
for $36.
the easiest rose to grow. So if you've had bad luck growing roses, this is the place to start right here. These will work in the coldest parts of the country, in the hottest parts of the country, in urban environments, small gardens, large gardens. And you know the really tall pots you see for sale in nurseries sometimes?
Yep.
Plant them in the top of those pots. They will cascade all the way to the ground. It's an unbelievable look.
It's also a way of covering things you don't want seen.
Yes.
If you have an unsightly, like, retaining wall.
Or your
that's
neighbors.
boring. Or your neighbors, yes, exactly. They'll creep very well. And longevity, I mean, we can anticipate that these could live for decades.
Well, the ones that were in my garden in Atlanta had already been there for 7 years.
Okay.
I lived in the house for 5, and they just got thicker and thicker and thicker. In fact, in the back, where the stone steps go down, I pinned them in so they crossed along the riser.
Okay.
And then I stepped over them. So I had I rose risers because they
cool.
don't stick out very far. They wouldn't trip you. It was a really beautiful look.
The plants themselves, can I show them?
Yeah, please.
You're going to get 6 of these plants. And the best part is that this little plant this year can become this.
It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful plants, and the blooms are perfect replicas of a hybrid tea rose, perfect miniature replica. Look at this. This is the lavender one. How perfect is that? By the way, these are fragrant. So enjoy these, cut them, bring them inside, do as I mentioned, and put a brick over the stem and get them to root.
Play with them.
Play. I have to tell you, when I got interested in horticulture, I learned how to root plants, and then I was hooked for life then.
This will define your property in a way that oftentimes the much more traditional and more difficult roses won't.
Correct.
Because people have seen roses, but if you've never seen ground cover, this one plant, again, will spread out up to 10 feet across when it reaches full maturity. And that's usually in about 2 seasons, right?
And you want something low maintenance. We talked about Jill's getaway house.
Yep.
This is a perfect situation for that situation. You want something that's easy but also beautiful.
You make available the best rose food in the world.
We do.
And our operators have that information. This is 100 prepackaged little packs. You throw that into a gallon of water.
Correct.
And you've got enough to keep you going easily for the entire year.
Indeed you do.
Maybe more.
And feed your plants just like you feed yourself, and you'll have beautiful results. You should have results like this. You follow your growing guides, and it's the easiest. These are also guaranteed for a full year. Cottage Farms is known for their roses, and I love the ground cover roses because it fits in an area in your garden where you didn't think you could have roses.
Yes, and I've always avoided roses just because, I mean, it was my mother's passion, but I knew how much time she had to put into them to make them grow and make them work.
And you just said the magic thing.
Yeah.
It's the time.
Yep.
You don't want to spend a lot of time, and these are low time.
Over 1,000 of you on the phone lines. This is, again, our pre-season pricing. Our first quantities are available, but these are the final quantities of the season. Okay, still to come, look at this. You know, everybody knows petunias, but not like this. This is the Indian Summer